Tomorrow's going to be critical for stocks as the S&P 500 is very close to all-time highs and potentially going to invalidate that double top pattern that we've been watching. Now, as we come over and look at how the indices fared across the board today, every single index was in the green. Dow was up 88 points. The NASDAQ was up 54 points. S&P 500 up 8 points, with the Russell 2000 being up 1.52. When we look at advancing issues versus declining, we had 57.8% of issues advancing on the day. Then as we come over and look at the sectors across the board, only 3 sectors were in the red. The big laggard out there today was energy, followed by basic materials and technology. Now, you would think that technology would have done a little bit better today, given how the NASDAQ continued to grind up all day long, along with the S&P. You can see right off the rip, we gap down, S&P goes running up. We look over here at the QQQs, gaps down this morning, runs on up. However, something that is a little bit fishy out there. If we come over real quick and we take a look at the volatility index, we can see the VIX last night gapped up at the open during London and then drifted down a little bit, but the VIX was still able to close up 84 cents on the session. Now, with the markets being up the way they were, we would normally see the VIX actually at lower prices. Now, is that because we have hedging taking place in front of tomorrow's CPI report? And we will be going over this tomorrow on the live stream. Now, if you guys don't want to miss the next time I go live, make sure you subscribe and you have the bell notifications turned on for all. This week, we have more Take Profit Trader accounts to give away. But as we come over and look at this, let's look at some of the contributing factors to last month's better than expected CPI report. You can see a lot of it had to do with energy. Energy was down. Now, what if that's not the case this time around? What if we actually come in with a much hotter CPI report? Because let's not forget, we still have not felt the effects of all the tariffs out there. We can see, for instance, this morning, we see this article. Here's how cars get caught in the U.S. crossfire as Trump hits EU with fresh tariffs. Now, it wasn't just the EU today that Trump hit with tariffs as well, but it was also the fact that Trump threatens 100% tariffs on Russia exports unless Ukraine peace deal is reached by September. I think it was essentially 50 days that Trump gave Russia to go ahead and come to some type of peace agreement with Ukraine. Now, if we come over and look at the economic data for tomorrow, the CPI report is going to be what's in focus. And as we come over and look at the CPI report, notice last time for the core CPI month over month came in at 0.1. This time they're expecting a rise to 0.3. To me, that doesn't sound like they're expecting inflation to come down. Then we look at CPI month over month. They're expected to come in 0.3 versus last time at 0.1. And then we look at the year over year CPI report. Then we look at the year over year CPI and expected to come in at 2.6, prior reading of 2.4. And then we also get the Empire State Manufacturing Index. Now, to me, that doesn't seem like inflation is going to be coming down here just a bit. And if we come over and look at the dollar index getting back into that weekly zone, then we come over and take a look at gold. Gold is also on the move down lower today. Gold was down $9. Now, if you're looking for gold to make a new all-time high, this is one of the areas we've been talking about, this distribution area of the profile. We must get above 34.10. Then we can start talking about all-time highs. If we fail to get above that price point, there's no need to have any discussion about new all-time highs. Now, over the weekend, we saw Bitcoin making a new all-time high, but look at Bitcoin over here on the daily chart. Big shooting star type of candle. Bitcoin made a high of 123,236. Anybody long out there with Bitcoin? Congrats. My hat off to you. Great job out there. Now, what's even more important than that is let's come over and look at the 10-year yield. 10-year yield, once again, is on the move up higher. We still have this potential complex A to B equals C to D pattern in play all the way up to 4.861%. However, tomorrow, when the CPI report comes out, I got a sneaky suspicion we're going to see the 10-year have some big moves out there. When the 10-year normally has large moves in the market, we normally will start to see large moves in the stock market as well. And if all that wasn't enough to digest, tomorrow before the bell, we also have the banks coming out with earnings. We have JP Morgan, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, just to name a few. And if we come over and look at JP Morgan today, JP Morgan up 0.64%. We come over and look at Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo today up 1% on the session. We come over and look at Citigroup. Citigroup was up 0.89%. Now, it wasn't too long ago, a week, 2 weeks ago, something like that, we saw some of the banks were downgraded. And we're going to see if that downgrade was warranted tomorrow after the earnings come out. So we have a lot on deck. We have tariffs still in play. We have the CPI data coming out. we have bank earnings coming out. Amazing deals out there. Apex Trader Funding, 80% off all evaluation accounts. My Funded Futures, 50% off first-time users. Tradeify, 50% off first-time users. And 35% off reoccurring purchases after that. Use promo code Mike. If you guys want to trade with a prop firm with the best payout policy out there, Take Profit Trader right now, 40% off all the evaluation accounts. Best yet, no activation fee. Take advantage of these offers. Use the link in the description box down below. Now, if we come over and look at the SPY real quick, yes, I still think at some point we're going to come down to the 38% retracement. But now look, every time we have a retracement, it's a very, very minor retracement. And it looks like, to be honest with you, the market wants to run and make a new all-time high. Could tomorrow be a case where maybe we come out with better than expected CPI report, we blast up through all-time highs, they set a trap, and then the pullback gets underway, because then that would go ahead and wreck everybody trying to short up here. And then two, anybody trying to play the breakout, it would also wreck those participants as well. The market loves to make a fool out of the most amount of people it can at one time. We come over and look at the 4-hour chart though. MACD indicator looks like it is crossed to the downside and wants to make a beeline down towards the zero line. And that trap scenario could come into play tomorrow, and that would be very exciting if it indeed does come into play. Now, today, I'm going to classify this as a P as in Paul shaped profile. If tomorrow we're trading below 624.39 on the SPY, then I would love to see the market come down towards value area low at 623.45. Anything below that, look here at the next high volume node at about 622.84. Below that, then I'd be looking anywhere down here from 622.27 to about 621.82. Any targets beyond that price point would then come down towards the gap being filled at 620.31. Then from that point on, I'd want to refer back over to the daily chart, and more specifically, that 38% retracement at about 613.61. Now, as we come over and look at the futures markets real quick, we start off looking at the S&P futures, and this is something we talked about over the weekend. Could this be a double top? Top number one, top number two, we need to come down and break this point here. If this point's not broken, then the double top pattern is not validated. And if we come up here once again, well, guess what? That would not be a double top. That would be more likely to be a triple top. And I say this all the time on the live stream. The more times we push into a level, the more likely that level is to give way. Now, I'm not giving up on some of these high volume nodes that we have down below us. At some point, we will come back and visit. And keep in mind, August 1st is going to come up a lot quicker than what people actually think. Now, as we look at the volume profile out here for the futures markets, we ran up all day long, all the way from the London low down here about 3:30 in the morning, all the way up to the close. We just chugga all the way up. Now, the good news is we were able to fill the gap from last night. We were able to take out the P point. We were able to take out last Friday's point of control as well. And we actually made it all the way up through value area high. Now, as we deal with today's volume profile levels, 63.14.5 will be value area high. The point of control is going to be right below us at about 63.10.00, and value area low will be down here at 62.90. Now, the way I want to play this is going to be slightly different. If we're trading below this distribution node right here, somewhere in the ballpark of 63.06, I want to turn my attention for a quick little move down toward about 63.02. Anything below that price point, I then would want to turn my attention towards value area low. We breach that. Then this next minus development area, 62.86. We breach that. Then I'm looking all the way down here, somewhere in the ballpark of 62.74, and then potentially all the way back down towards the low. You can see today we had a 55.25 point range, and the average range right now for the S&P is only 49.1 points. Now, we come over and look at the QQQs real quick on the daily chart. Look, we are not that far away from making another new all-time high. Look at the MACD indicator. We still have the divergence playing out, and at some point we will get the turn. So far, the turn has eluded us, but I think too many people are looking for a turn in the market at this moment. On the 4-hour chart, you can see the MACD indicator cross to the downside. Then we come over and start looking at the 30-minute volume profiles. You can see today, MACD indicator ripped up, but now we have that curl-in effect. We have that P as in Paul shaped profile. Now, one of the areas I will want to watch for tomorrow is going to be down here about 555.15. That is a low volume node within this profile. We breach below that. Then I want to turn my attentions really down towards these candle bodies, 553.26, all the way down towards the low of today, about 551.62. this whole area is a minus development area, and it is a really good rejection point. We don't have a lot of volume built out. We went down there, boom, the market just rocketed right from that area. Now we come over and look at the futures markets for the NASDAQ real quick. Last week we had a Diaz and dog shape profile, and notice what we were able to do. Last night we opened below value area low, and then today we rallied all the way through the entire weekly volume profile. Now, in this case, if we get back below 23,005 and a quarter, we can then look to play that volume profile rotation back down off the weekly chart. And I gave out those levels in yesterday's video. Then we jump over and start looking at the daily profiles real quick. And look, here's the orb high from today. We broke above that. We never came back and retested that level out. Now, as I'm looking at this, we have value area high, 23,062 and a half. We have the point of control, 23,046, and value area low coming in about 22,926. Now, one of the things I'm looking for is tonight, do we maybe breach above value area high and then start to come down? If the answer is yes, I want to target the point of control. I want to target the high volume node at about 23,026, the next high volume node, 23,008. Then we can look at playing some of these other minus development areas as the market tries to make its way down towards value area low at 22,926. Now, in the event that we break above value area high and we stay above it, let's go ahead, buckle up, hold on tight. We're probably going to see the market run and make a new all-time high. Now, if you're always hearing me talk about different volume profile shapes, if you'd like to learn how to trade the B as in boy shape profile, then you want to make sure to check out this next video right here.